Dialed in the new studios, and I think we are good to go. Yeah. As you're joining our live this morning, it is Ask a Med Pro. Shane from the Aquarian Clinic is here. Welcome.
Thanks, man. Good morning.
We have someone who's already reached out this morning to ask a big question whenever it comes to her husband, who apparently refuses to go to the doctor. So we're going to be talking about that. We just did our ghosted this morning. Also, kind of wanted to chat a little bit about the sub and when it comes down to like time is up.
Yeah, it is.
Because I guess the air was supposed to run out at 7:08 this morning. So at this point, I mean, like, there's a bunch of things that people are talking about. The thing that I don't understand, and I said this earlier this morning, how in the world did they not have like some kind of pinging system that would like ping automatically, even if you pass out or something like that, so that way they could give out their location?
Yeah. At $250,000 a pop,
there should be a ping.
there should be some kind of ping.
Right. I mean, like, how hard is that? Get on an Alexa device. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's we got all this technology in the world, and we got to worry about like listening to a little banging sound to see if someone has a tin cup that's banging on the walls.
And
that's
that banging
crazy.
could have been anything.
And that's what they're saying right now.
Yeah.
Is it could have been anything. So, and you know what? I don't know if I really want to hear it, but like, I've been seeing some of the doctors kind of report on what these folks, are looking at whenever it comes to when the air runs out. But there's also hypothermia when it comes to this kind of things.
Agreed.
Because chances are the batteries are what went out. And so how long at like, say, 30 degrees or 40 degrees can a human live?
It is not long, honestly. It can be a matter of hours. I mean, just depending on how much body fat you have. So the larger people will do better, obviously, but it's a matter of hours, unfortunately.
So you're saying, like, because at this point, if the issue was the battery, because
Right.
that's one of the things that happened. I don't know if you heard. Well, was it Ian was talking about this? Like, one of the guys who was on the sub, one of the two trips that it did make before this, said that they had to come back because the batteries ended up not lasting, and so they had to do like a turnaround and go back up. So if the batteries went out, that means that their heating went out, and so they had no way of heating that sub. So the temperatures in there were low 40s,
Frigid.
upper 30s, right? And so chances are it's not even a matter of how long the air was available.
And we
down
don't know what they were wearing as far as clothing. Like,
I
we
didn't
have
think
no
about that.
clue. I mean,
Yeah.
they could be wearing T-shirts and shorts for all we know, and it could be quick.
there. Right.
Or
right.
if they were
Did
smart.
they layer?
That's what I was going to get into. Is like, did they layer? Did they wear jackets? I mean, I have no
But
idea.
even then, I mean, like,
Even
okay,
then.
say they do the huddling up, right?
that would help.
Right. And the other thing I was thinking about now, again, not to get too dark, but
Of course.
you got 90 hours of air when they first started, right? So if two people elect to say, hey, I'm done, and then they right?
Yeah.
Well, then that would double their air. You know what I'm saying?
It could.
For the rest of the people, I don't know. We're going to get into our first question this morning. If you have any questions for Ask a Med Pro or any thoughts whenever it comes to the sub, hit us up. Tex and Barbie T, 95.1 WAPE, Jacksonville's #1 hit music station. It is time for Ask a Med Pro. Shane from the Aquarian Clinic is in. Welcome.
Hi, Shane.
How
Hey,
are
good
you?
morning. Thanks, guys. Doing great.
Ready for some questions this morning?
Always ready. I love them.
Good. We are on Facebook Live on the WAPE Facebook page. We're going to be taking some questions from there. I think you can find us on YouTube as well. Dex and Barbie T on YouTube as we stream the show there live as well. We had a question that called in a little earlier for you, and you kind of chatted with this girl a little bit. So let's go ahead and get into this. Her husband has not been wanting to go into the doctor. What's going on whenever it comes to this? Good morning.
My husband never goes to the doctor. He hasn't been probably in 10 years. So for a few years, he has these problems. Like, he has abdominal pain, he has heartburn, Oh my God, he has constipation. So he doesn't really do anything about it, though. He just like chews a full fist of Tums, and he's like says he's fine. So I'm just frustrated. I want to know if he really should make an appointment and actually go to a doctor and get it looked at.
Because you've been trying to get him to go to the doctor. He refuses?
Oh yeah, he just says, "Oh, there's nothing wrong. It's fine. It's just regular heartburn." All the time.
I always recommend just getting checked out. Going 10 years is never a good thing. Has he lost any weight?
No, he's kind of just stayed the same.
Sure.
I mean, he's a little on the overweight side. Like,
Okay.
he doesn't have a lot of physical activity or anything.
Okay. Okay. Has he ever complained of having any night sweats or anything?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That wasn't on my list, but now that you mention it, he does sweat a lot at night.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. And you said this has been going on for 10 years, right?
Well, he hasn't been to a doctor in 10 years. I've noticed these symptoms probably for the past couple of years.
Nice. And you said there is no bleeding in the stools, blood in the stools, correct?
Not that I
Okay.
know of.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
We call those red flags. Anytime we're doing a list of what it can be, which is called a differential diagnosis, I always ask about weight loss, especially like if it's an acute thing, which tells me that there's something going on that's like metabolic, and that could be a cancer, that can be a infection, that could be really anything. So I always ask that to set the stage.
What's the night sweats thing?
Night sweats, good question. So that's a problem of where your body can't regulate heat very well, and then you get very hot. And that's when you notice it the most, which can happen with, if you're having increased metabolic activity, which I just said, which is the cancer or TB or those types of things, which are bad. Anytime I hear night sweats, it just kind of makes the hairs on my neck kind of stand up a little more than usual.
Narcotic constipation. He's addicted to pain pills. Could it be something like that too?
It could, but it
Jeez.
doesn't explain the night sweats, does it? So that's where we have to take it all into consideration. So you see how you have to paint the picture and ask questions like a detective,
And go to the doctor.
And go
Yeah,
to
I
the
was about to
doctor,
say, maybe you
obviously.
should just go to the doctor and get some tests done.
Right.
Bingo.
And that's why we do this. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't like Bible right now. You should probably
No.
get checked out.
This is just general advice.
Have you ever had any issues whenever it comes to getting your significant other to go to the doctor and they didn't want to listen? What ended up happening? Give us a call, 833-685-9595. If you have any questions for Shane this morning from the Aquarian Clinic, we want to hear you too. Call now. Again, 833-685-9595.
Josh is spot on too here. Josh says it can also be low blood sugar, which is absolutely the case.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
So like low blood sugar is in like maybe pre-diabetic or diabetic? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. Now, what's narcotic constipation though? Do people who are addicted to pain pills, do they get,
Absolutely
messed up?
Yeah, they even make a medication that's just for narcotic induced constipation.
Really?
Yeah, it's such a prevalent thing in patients that take it long term. And you start to build a tolerance. Now you need more and more and more. So you get more benefit, but then again, you get more side effects, right?
Okay.
So that's the hands down. So what it does is it slows down everything, which it slows down your gut. It slows down your breathing. That's how folks die, is your breathing kind of just stops.
Dang.
That's what causes the death, unfortunately.
Dang.
Exactly.
And again, just throwing this out. These are, suggestions, but in the end, you should always consult your doctor.
Always.
This is not Bible, so don't go off and be like, da. Just a quick disclaimer: go see your medical professional.
So Jacqueline says she has an appointment next week to see if she can start the Ozempic shot for weight loss. Thoughts?
Good thought. I mean, so I love the medication personally. I've seen a lot of great benefits, but it's not a fit for everyone, obviously. So it just depends on your medical history, what you've got going on, and if you're a candidate for it. So those are some things. I see your comment here, and I'll give you a little bit of a response. But I like the medication. I like the Mounjaro. I like the GLP-1s, period.
Tips if you get on it. Because I hear some people say that they end up getting like some crazy diarrhea. Like there was some news story that said, oh man, ERs are seeing people go in there because of Ozempic and diarrhea and stuff like that. So thoughts?
It can cause constipation or diarrhea. So that's the thing, is it takes time for your body to get acclimated to this new level, right? It just takes time, and it goes away typically. And oftentimes I've seen it caused by foods most often. So if you're going back and still eating those bad things that you've been eating in the past and just expect things to be good, no, it's not. You need to change your entire life, and the medication is just a tool, right? It's just a tool.
Amber's question.
Shane, any tips for TB supplements? What's that? Tuberculosis?
No.
TBI. Oh yeah, I see that.
What's
Wow. That's a traumatic brain injury. So this can be, this is very common in the military, or if you've had falls or a car accident, traumatic brain injuries. So I do like a couple of things such as ALA, and then that's been shown to help as far as supplements to help preserve what you have already. Is it going to reverse anything? No, it's really not. So there is no cure for it. Once the damage is done, it's done.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Kenny said, my 59-year-old aunt was having the same symptoms.
Right.
Finally, abdominal pain got really bad, so she finally called the ambulance. She passed on her way to the hospital. It was her heart. Oh, my
Oh
goodness.
no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I really am. That's just tough, and you don't really suspect it to be the heart, but actually an aortic dissection can present like that in the stomach.
What's an aortic? What's that?
Yeah, that's a tough thing. So the aortic dissection, it happens when the aorta gets very thin and it starts to break apart, and it starts to call it dissect. When the area inside called the intima starts to break off, and then that leaks blood. The blood creates pressure, and then it kind of opens up and causes bleeding, and that aorta can't really be stopped when it started.
Interesting.
Unfortunately.
Josh said, Ozempic is a great medication for weight loss, but I always explain to my patients how it works. It slows down gastric emptying, slows down mobility. Is that motility?
Motility, yeah.
Does slowing down absorption of food and sends your hormone signal to your brain, telling your brain that you're full if you continue to eat large meals.
Spot on.
Oh crap! That counts.
Spot on.
Eat large meals when you have side effects such as heartburn, nausea, and vomiting.
Exactly. Josh is spot on with this. So he gets it. This is the truth. Whereas if you're eating the way you once were and you're not listening to your body's cues, you're gonna vomit. You're gonna get GERD. You're gonna get gas. You're gonna get diarrhea. I mean,
Sulfur burps.
sulfur burps. That's how I know you had too much carbs.
Oh God.
I know those are not fun.
I completely changed my diet, and I've been working out for over a year, but I'm still having a hard time losing due to the CPOS and endometriosis. So I wanted to see if the shots would help.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Amber said Ozempic is wild the first 1 to 2 weeks. Tough it out.
yeah.
My mom started it 4 weeks ago. Had GI issues, cravings, and fatigue. Week 3 and 4, her hunger went away, and she's down 14 pounds. She's a nurse, so she's always on her feet.
Bingo. Spot on.
Sorry, I'm checking something out real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
What's up, Kayla? Hey, Travis. Amber said a head-on collision 3 years out. I can't sleep. I have the worst mood swings. So that's her TBI.
That's really tough. There's no easy answers here with a TBI. There's no real cure. It can create mood disorders, sleep insomnia. So what we need to do is kind of optimize her so that she can get more sleep. And that can be, it depends on your goals. If you like supplements, then go ahead and try some melatonin. That actually works great. But if those over-the-counter items don't work, then there's other options. I know. I'm sorry, Amber. I know it's hard. Hang in there. Hang in there. Just looking at all the comments.
Okay, good. Boom. All right. Man, some of these stories that are about to come out are crazy this morning. Sorry about that. Just checking things out. All right. Hey, Ian, do you have any questions for Shane this morning as well?
The hangover effect is real from sleeping meds. So does that make you like still sleepy the next day?
Some of them can, yeah. Like like the trazodone, like the other things like that as well. So there are some other things. There's a prescription grade version of the melatonin. I'm trying to remember.
That's my question. Yeah, melatonin. Okay, so if you take melatonin, can your body stop making it? Because it's something that your body's supposed to make, right?
It is.
So what happens if your body stops making it?
Exactly. So that's a good question. Then it can cause rebound insomnia, right? So these things you can't take like all the time. So you want to kind of take them judiciously, like you do with like Tylenol. You can't take it around the clock, right?
Okay.
So it's the same premise. It's one of those things. So take it judiciously.
And by that, like, what would you suggest? Like, say, for instance, 1 week on, 1 week off?
Or you can do 3 to 5 days 1 week and 3 to 5 days the next week. Give yourself a holiday on those ones for sure.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm suffering from severe allergies. Wind and rain have been crazy. Or any natural remedies?
Yo, the rain here has been wild. This week hasn't been as bad, but last week was nuts.
Week was insanity. Right.
Stand by. Let's get on there. Dex and Barbie, T95.1 WAPE, Jacksonville's #1 hit music station. All right, so we've been talking with Shane, our nurse practitioner from the Aquarian Clinic. We're looking for stories like, have you ever had to try to force your significant other to go to the doctor? Because one of the things that I know as guys, we are awful at that.
Y'all are the worst.
Right?
And it's so stressful. Like, please take your tail to the doctor.
Right.
Get checked out.
Something bad, walk it off, you know what I mean? So if you've ever had to do this is a great example too. If you've ever had to do this, what ended up happening when they went to the doctor? Share your stories now, 833-685-9595. Shane's in this morning, so if you have any questions for him for our Ask a Med Pro, feel free to check in as well. Miguel right now, Dex, Barbie T, 95.1 WAPE. Good song. All right.
That's a tune.
Oh, crap. Hey, good morning. Hang on just a second. You're going to be our first person. Hey, good morning. We've got one call ahead of you. Can you hang on?
Sure.
All right. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, I lost her. All right. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Katie. I'm calling from the South Side.
Good morning. Katie, go ahead. What happened?
So my husband wasn't feeling good. His stomach was bothering him for days, sweating, couldn't get out of bed. And I kept trying to get him to go to the doctor. Then it became, you should really go to the hospital. And finally, by the time I got him to the hospital a few days in, he had appendicitis so bad that they had to emergency rush him to the OR to remove it before it burst.
Yo.
Oh, my gosh.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And what
Yeah.
were the symptoms again?
My question too. That's
He was sweating, nauseated, and that's how it kind of started. And then he had pain in his side.
Interesting. And so when you said, "Hey, you need to go to the doctor," what did he say?
Oh, I'll be fine. It's just the stomach virus. It'll, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
that sound like fellas, right?
And I'm pretty sure you remind him daily, I saved your life.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's not the only
Good for you.
occasion. So, yes.
Really? How many times have you saved this man's
man.
life?
Yes.
Boom.
I mean, there's been like cysts that have had to get removed. I mean, it's just random things that happen.
All
but
right.
in the end, you should just go to the doctor when I say to.
Yeah. There you
Period.
go. Thank you for your
Thank
call.
you.
Thanks for
Thank you.
listening.
No problem. Have a good day.
Take care.
Boom. Isn't that wild?
Wow, I
Okay,
told
so if he would have waited in his what is it called?
Appendix ruptured?
Yeah, what would happen?
Oh, you've got like an hour or two max.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's so pressing. So honestly, she did save his life technically. So good for her.
40 seconds. Hold on a second. Constance, hang on just a second. We got some comments in there.
Oh, let's check.
Let me get. Dang. Those appendicitis things, man, they do not mess around.
Amanda, get you some elderberry syrup too.
What's that? What's the
It
question?
helps for her allergies.
For the allergies.
Oh, yep.
And Claritin, if that helps. Travis wants to know if gut health plays a role in multiple sclerosis.
Gut health is one of those things that we're finding new research all the time. And so as we don't have any direct evidence just yet. I think gut health is huge in general so that you can absorb vitamins better because that's a problem that folks with MS have. So I would say go for it, honestly.
Hang on a second. Oh, Travis. Okay.
Yeah.
Constance, good morning. Go ahead. What do you got for us this morning?
So I was working at the prison. I was a doctor's assistant, practitioner's assistant, and the inmates were coming down through to go to chow, and we have to stop and let them go. So I'm standing there, and I'm looking at this guy, and I was like, he looks really yellow. And so I turned to my practitioner, and I was like, does he not look like he's a highlighter right now? And she's like, yeah, go pull him. So I went and pulled him from the line, and he actually was in liver failure. He had AIDS.
Bingo.
He had hepatitis.
Bingo.
And his request had been kept getting shuffled and wasn't coming to us.
Wow.
So they took him in immediately, and they did a telecom call. He had to be put on IV antibiotics. He had a week till he would have died.
Whoa.
Like, his levels were so high.
Jeez.
The warden, the director over the prison, the medical director, they all pulled me in the office, and they were like, we are so grateful that you pointed that out, because that would have been a lawsuit all the way around.
Absolutely. And honestly, I still would have sued because why y'all didn't get his medical stuff?
Oh, they did.
Yeah. Oh, they
But
did.
that's a prime example of how inmates are treated there, because
No, I know.
I saw a request for a week prior for him,
Right.
and it went through the wrong channel, and I took it to my director, and I was like, look, this guy needs to be seen. He's behind.
I agree.
And they were like, well, it has to go through the right channels. He can't just give it to the counselor. Come to find out, he had been, and you've got nurses that treat them like inmates instead of patients.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why you're
So
different.
they
and
just
you're
kept
special.
ignoring him.
Yeah.
So that's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank
Obviously.
you.
So you saved his life.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
did. Dang,
Literally.
thank you very much, Constance.
What are ways to improve gut health? Probiotics,
Fiber.
Fiber, probiotic. Absolutely. That's a very good point.
H2O.
Water. Yes. Do what Barbie does.
Yellow. As soon as
Drink
she
nothing
said
but water.
yellow, that's a liver thing, right?
Huge. Yeah, that's just bilirubin in the blood. That's
And if
that's
you
what
have
yellow is.
yellow around your eyes, if your eyes are white, isn't that jaundice?
That is jaundice. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
See,
Look
I
at you
remember.
learning, Dex. Jeez.
See, this is what happens when you
Look
hang
at
out
that.
with Shane.
Yeah. Love it, man.
Dude, that's wild.
It is wild.
Let's get these calls in.
Good for her.
Here we go.
Can you turn me back up?
I got you back.
Thank
Of course.
Dex and Barbie T 95.1 WAPE, Jacksonville's #1 hit music station. All right, so it is Ask a Med Pro this morning. Shane from the Aquarium Clinic is in taking some phone calls, 833-685-9595. The topic really this morning, too, is basically, get your act together.
Right? How did you save your spouse's or person's life? Like by telling them and making them go to the doctor.
Because a lot of times, especially for guys, we don't go to the doctor, right? Mm-hmm. And until it's the last minute. Would you say that's about true, Shane?
I think that's spot on, honestly.
Yeah. Good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Katie. I'm calling from the South Side.
Good morning. Katie, go ahead. What happened?
So my husband wasn't feeling good. His stomach was bothering him for days, sweating, couldn't get out of bed. And I kept trying to get him to go to the doctor. Then it became, you should really go to the hospital. And finally, by the time I got him to the hospital a few days in, he had appendicitis so bad that they had to emergency rush him to the OR to remove it before it burst.
Yo.
Oh my gosh.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And what
Yeah.
were the
listen to me.
symptoms again?
My question, too. That's yeah.
He was sweating, nauseated, and that's how it kind of
Sweats.
started. And then he had pain in his side.
We have Celsius when you can hear
Yeah.
the sound of that. And so when it comes to what she just said, if that would have ruptured, how long do you have is it
Appendicitis. Yep, you're spot on. You don't have nothing but a few hours, honestly, because you can get what we call septic and die.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Death
Okay.
and that's where the infection just takes over and honestly takes you out really quickly.
What causes your? Is it appendix? What causes it to get inflamed like that or mess up?
That is a good question, and we don't know yet. We don't know exactly what
Just
causes
can
that.
just randomly do that?
It can.
It happened to my
it can be
cousin. She
spontaneous.
had it. It was random for her.
Really?
And she had
Did
to have
it?
hers taken out.
Did it rupture or did it
They
almost?
took it out.
Yeah. That's the only treatment.
Good
honestly.
morning, sir. Go ahead. Tell us what happened. This is you that refused to go to the doctor.
Good one. I would never go to the doctor. And my wife kept saying it take you too long to pee, and I wouldn't go to the doctor. And she worked as a doctor at the Toyota plant, so she said it's time for your DOT physical. He just gonna do a regular physical. You're not gonna stick the finger. I said okay, cool. When I got to the doctor, he said okay, we're gonna do a full physical. I said oh my God, we did it. I had prostate cancer.
Oh my gosh, your wife
And-
saved your ass.
She did, and I've been cancer free 5 years.
Oh,
now.
good. Good.
That's awesome.
Right.
That's great.
Woo.
So
And that's good that your wife knows that you go into the bathroom, it takes a little longer.
well,
you know?
not only that, I mean, like, I feel like you should know. Like,
Yeah,
you
that
know,
too.
Hey,
but guys
man.
don't pay attention.
Yeah, no, I would pay attention to that. If all of a sudden my stream starts getting interrupted and it's like, dots and dashes, I would. Is that not a concerning thing?
I'd be concerned if my urine stream was like Morse code, right?
Yeah.
I'd be
Morse
concerned.
code.
No, seriously. Dots
and
and dashes.
dot,
But
dashes,
he
yeah.
clearly didn't think about it.
Right.
Like he just went ahead and was like, "Yeah, I guess it's just." He probably
just
thought
thought
it was old
normal.
age.
Listen,
Well, that too.
'Cause
you're
if
not a
it's-
guy, so you don't
I
understand.
know, I don't.
notice my stream, okay? And
Okay.
I notice when it is. And then when
Yeah.
it's, well, I mean, I haven't had that problem yet, but I'm just saying, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got to watch out for that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
is that a sign of prostate cancer?
That can be.
What
That
else could
an
it be?
Early sign. Well, that can also be a condition called BPH, which is where the prostate does get larger over time, which is a normal thing, but you still should get it checked out and make sure.
You don't want a
Could
large
it be a sign
prostate?
of ED?
You don't want to, yeah. That can cause a lot of problems too, though. So you should get it checked out for sure.
Does it cause ED?
It can, yeah. Putting pressure on there as well. Oh yeah.
If you are peeing Morse code,
If you're peeing Morse
Or
code.
you can't, then you might
It's
want to go
always
talk
a sign
to
to
Shay.
get.
yeah, go
Listen, get it
fixed.
checked out. Get it checked out.
Yo, that's crazy. That's
It's the
crazy.
truth.
Like I know my D.
Well, I mean, like, seriously, though. I mean, like, I don't know any guys out there that would say, oh, yo, check it. Yeah. Hey, good
It's
morning.
embarrassing.
What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, did I lose you?
I got you back.
I think everything's on. Hey, can you hear me? Nope, I lost her. Shane, are there any old wives' tales that actually work, like putting an onion in a sock when you're sick, or putting a bar of soap in bed to stop leg cramps?
Onion sock works
For
for
what?
sinuses. When I used to get a cold, my
Sure.
grandma would put an onion in a sock. She'd cut it open and put it around my neck.
Interesting.
Shane?
I don't have any science or evidence to support that. But those ones are not proven. If we're going to be honest.
So, but at the same time, I mean, like, people do them every day. You know what I'm
They
saying?
do, yeah, and I mean, there are some things I do recall someone talking about putting tobacco on a bee sting. That works. Mm-hmm. That works. That's one that I can think of off the top of my head that actually works. Yeah, it just kind of draws it out.
Dex, Pam is going to send you her medical book, her medical terminology,
So why?
because she said you're enjoying this. I took medical term.
You know what?
It's an easy class.
Yeah, keep in mind,
part.
Asian, my mom wanted me to be a doctor
Oh, man.
from
You
birth.
should send your mom a picture of that book and be like, "Look, Mom,
Yeah,
I'm in med school."
yeah. And she'd be like, oh, you're a liar.
Oh, no,
Don't you lie
Mom.
to me, bitch.
Abby said, so I have two stories. One for, One for me. I was sick. I thought I had COVID, but when I got to the hospital, they put me on septic protocol for the flu.
Yo, and
Yeah.
I had that.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I think about it,
Yeah, man.
I remember I was like, man, I have a flu, and it started getting really bad, and I was just like, oh man, I don't need to go to the doctor though. No one goes to the doctor for the flu.
Right.
It's like that's what was in my head. I went to the urgent care, and that's when they said that I was going septic and that I had
Yikes.
2 hours to live.
Well, I'm happy you're here with us,
Dang.
Dax.
Right.
That's just dramatic. I mean, and that's what can happen, you know? Everyone's different. There's different factors that make you fight off things better or better. It's just hard to say, you know.
Abby, call us. Tell us. I want to hear your ex-fiance's story too.
Shingles,
if you
yeah.
can. 833-685-9595. If you can put that in there, Barbie, too. That way, if you want to call this morning. I'm trying to think of old wives' tales. Does anybody have an old wives' tales that you're like, yo, this absolutely
Rock and rye.
works?
Yeah.
Rock and rye. I could see that working because it's alcohol, right? And that's supposed to kill germs, isn't it? Zenny. What up, Zenny?
Hey, good morning.
I use herbal, natural, blah, blah. I use all natural during COVID. Twice. Each human is different.
100%.
What did you use for the COVID that was all natural? Barbie swears by elderberry.
Elderberry syrup, and then I also have a picture of these vitamins that this guy, he was in medical school, but he dropped out and he went the more natural way. He gave me all of these things, the vitamins that help build the fibers in your lungs and all these other things. Sure. The bill is like $150 worth of vitamins, but I think it saved my life.
Yeah, I do enjoy, like I said, that one and your echinacea have been known and shown that there is some like immune benefits. Vitamin C is always a classic, right? Also zinc. Zinc's very good, and it's also good for mood.
Okay,
zinc and magnesium.
Here's my question, too.
Sure.
Oh, man, I've just been typing this whole thing and nothing came up. When it comes to cancer, okay,
Sure.
we've heard sugar feeds cancer. Is that true?
Not necessarily.
Hang on.
It can.
Hey, good morning. Hang on just a second. Go ahead. You were saying, Shane?
So, yes, it not necessarily really that it can feed cancer. It's just your own cells themselves overgrowing, honestly. And so that's what happens in cancer. It's just the body's not telling that cell to turn off.
But I've heard so many times, like, yo, stop eating. If you cut sugar out, can that help?
It can help, absolutely. And it can prevent your cancer chances, right? So a healthy diet and exercise are always the first line medicine I would always recommend, honestly.
Hey, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
So this is Abby.
Abby,
good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead. So,
Good morning.
So what happened with your ex-fiance?
Okay, so the one day he woke up with this rash on his back, and I thought it a little bit odd, and I was like, I've never seen something like that before. And so I did what you're supposed to do with spider bites. I outlined it to see if it was going to get bigger. And, like, within a 24-hour time period, it had just spread across his entire back.
Yo, that's why.
And
That's quick.
he only complained of a headache. Like, he said it was like a splitting migraine headache.
Okay, so at this point, that's what you've got, Shane. What do you think, like just a couple of things that it could be?
Putting them together.
Well, I come from a line of like medical professionals in my family.
Nice.
So yeah, I did actually start to think shingles because it was so like abnormal. And I texted a few of my medical people in my family, and I was like, hey, is this what I think it is? And they were like, yeah, get him to the hospital.
Is shingles like scary,
he was,
like
like terrified of doctors, so he wouldn't go.
Shingles initially isn't in and of itself a fatal thing, but there are factors that can make it fatal. Like if you're older and you have underlying conditions or you're immunosuppressed, it can kill you and take you out. Really?
Well,
yeah.
I'm immunosuppressed. I actually have an autoimmune disorder.
So you would definitely have to be careful.
He was with me, and they say it's catchable, so I don't know.
It's highly contagious.
Is it really?
It's
Shingles
highly contagious. Do not touch it. Go near it. You can get it fast. Yeah. Sorry.
I had shared the bed with him for 2 whole days, and we had no idea.
Lucky. You got lucky.
Okay.
Wow. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you for your call,
painful.
Abby. Dang. Yo, that's crazy. All right, so what is shingles exactly?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a rash, right?
It is a virus. That is, yeah. So if you've ever had chicken pox.
Ooh, that's like herpes.
Yeah, if you've ever had chicken pox, you can get shingles. And if you've not had the vaccine, you can get it again too, though. So
That's
keep in
wild.
mind.
I had
you can sure get
chickenpox
it.
when I was a kid.
So then you can get shingles as you get older.
I had the vaccine though.
Good. Shingles vaccine, the Shingrix.
I guess.
So back to Constance thing earlier this morning. So she sees this guy, he's yellow. She's like, yo, something's not right there.
Yeah.
You know, liver was the issue, but she said that he had AIDS and he had hepatitis.
Correct.
So obviously one of those things, what's causing the liver to shut down?
That's a good question. It is a combination of things. Really.
Was it full blown AIDS or was it HIV though?
Exactly. That's a
thing.
point.
What's the difference?
So,
Sorry.
No, of course, that's a good point. So there's a lab we look at called CD4 count. So if your CD4 count is less than 200, that is AIDS. Anything above it, it's still called HIV. So it's a progression of HIV is what AIDS is. So what's causing his hepatitis is the acute viral hepatitis. It could be C most likely, Hep C. And if you're an IV drug user, those things are put you at risk of having Hep C.
Constance said it was full-blown AIDS.
Ah.
So does that cause the liver to shut down too?
What it does is that it destroys your immune, so you can't fight off Hep C, and it just makes Hep C 10 times worse. So
Yeah,
it keeps your body busy, so
Hang on a
it
second.
can't fight off Hep C.
No, this is just a quick one. Have you ever had to force your significant other? Dex and Barbie T 95.1 WAPE, Jacksonville's #1 hit music station. Coming up just about 2 songs away. We're taking your calls at 833-685-9595. Shane from the Aquarian Clinic is answering med questions, and this is kind of where we're kind of our topic this morning.
Yeah,
is.
basically, have you ever had to force your significant other to go to the doctor?
Because they said, nah, man, I'm going to walk it off. I'm fine. Wait until you hear some of these stories, and it might actually inspire you to maybe go to the doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right?
We'll get into some of these next. Yeah, so you were saying, is it hepatitis the one that caused it or what?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, like, AIDS patients, they don't ever die from AIDS. They
Never.
die from what, like, the hepatitis or
even the flu.
pneumonia or whatever, this sickness that their body can't fight.
Spot on. Like spot on.
I did actually start to think shingles.
Hey, I have a question. Since we brought up herpes, there is no way to cure that, right? Natural herbal remedy
Nothing.
or otherwise. Like, once a person has it, they carry it forever,
Correct.
even if no outbreaks, right?
Correct.
Jesus.
Correct.
Well, they said Dr. Sebi had cured some people of.
What now?
Are you not a fan of Dr. Sebi?
No, ma'am.
All right.
Oh,
No, ma'am.
wow. Really?
All right.
I kind of want to delve into that here in a
No.
little bit, but I do want to get some of these other things. So the herbal thing, there's no herbal stuff.
There's no herbal stuff. No. Unfortunately not.
And when it comes down to like, because these things, herpes, it'll throw a bump on you, right?
It
and
can,
then
sure.
the bump goes away. Like, do some people never let the bump go away? I mean, like, how's that work?
Everyone's so different. Someone can never have an outbreak ever, or they can have outbreaks every single month or every single week. There's just no rhyme or reason for it. But stress is a big factor too, though. So if you're under a lot of stress, then you probably have more breakouts. It's just one of those things, really. Yeah,
A cold sores herpes.
it is. HSV. You bet it is.
Because, never mind.
Yep, HSV.
Sorry, I'm almost done with another call.
No, totally
I
fine.
keep my lipstick to myself.
Yes,
Oh
ma'am.
yeah, that's the other thing. I saw that in the news. Like, you can actually get
Oh.
herpes from lipstick,
Like, you're
from sharing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whew.
I won't. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Of course, Abby, you killed it. We're about to play your call on the air here in just a little bit. So if you want to listen to the radio,
So someone
Absolutely.
can have it, and if they don't have an outbreak, they would never know. This is why it's so
Right.
important to get tested. Absolutely.
I agree. So, it's not just about going to the doctor when you're sick. It's about routine care and making sure we catch things early.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these problems you won't even never know you have until you get looked at, like
Don't say
high
a
blood
hairbrush.
pressure.
you're what?
Hairbrush.
Can you get something off of a hairbrush?
A lice.
Lice, absolutely.
Oh snap! Dang, that was quick.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
especially if you got kids, right?
So shingles, when it comes to the shingles thing,
Yeah.
can that go away?
Yeah.
Okay.
It can go away, but there's no exact cure for it.
Wait, so you'll always have it?
Yeah. It lies dormant inside of your nervous system. It hides very well. So that's why it comes back and we can't ever really knock it out.
What? Shingles?
So if you get it, it's kind of like herpes.
Kind of, sort of.
Dang, you can't even share some rolled spices anymore.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
rolled spices? Oh, got it. Sorry.
Got it.
Sorry.
CBD.
Yep, got it.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, that's why you can't have a
We're not
CBD
hip.
session with everybody. Like,
Can I tell you, I really
I
did
always
think like
laugh.
spices like oregano or something
Oregano,
like that.
parsley,
And I was
juniper
like,
berries.
I was really like thinking.
I'm like, well,
in
that
my
sounds
head,
healthy.
What is? How does it get to your lips?
I'm like, I don't have any science that proves it, but all right, I'm game. I'm game.
Scalp fungus.
Scalp fungus, yep.
That's why hairstylists use Barbasol.
yeah,
What's
Yeah.
Barbasol?
it's like a spray.
Disinfectant.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, would they spray it on their clippers when
Yep.
you cut your hair?
Or they put their stuff inside of that little
The blue
yeah.
water.
The blue water. Yeah. Exactly it.
Child.
I know, right? It's just that's why I always say that ignorance is bliss. That's why I wished I didn't know the things that I knew sometimes.
Yo,
you
man.
know?
Some of this stuff is
Some of the
wild.
stuff I'm just like, all right, well,
I'm starting to glean it a little bit.
a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, we got two stories that we're gonna go. Oh, Abby. So if she was sleeping next to him, could she have caught the shingles and it just never presented? What up, Tank?
It can, yeah.
Interesting.
It definitely can. It also depends if she had chicken pox when she was younger. If she did, then she's already a carrier for it.
Okay. Interesting.
So just just looking at the comments here.
Tank, you still dancing? Justin.
The minor knee pain for 3
Knee
years.
pain for 3 years. Yeah.
Enough to make us. Oh yeah, we should definitely get that
Wow.
checked out.
Yeah, what could that
Is
be?
there a
honestly.
shot for that you can get?
Yeah, you can get a cortisol shot in the joint if it's like an arthritis type of thing.
Yeah, but I watched
But-
Varsity Blues, and that's what they did to that one guy. And next thing you know, his knee got blown out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's hard to really say what it can be. Is it like a musculoskeletal thing? Is it like a tendonitis? Is it?
What if your knee cracks when you're going up the stairs?
Oh my
That
god!
doesn't mean a whole lot. That
Oh,
doesn't
you
mean
mean
a
like
whole.
your knee just popping?
Like
Yeah.
like cracking.
Well, that's normal. That means you got a lot of like
Oldness.
nitrogen, inside of your bones or in your joints. Sorry. So that's what cracking your knuckles mean. Like that's all that is.
Okay, yeah. And so
So
my
does
mom
that-
used to say that if I crack my knuckles like that over and over and over again, I'm going to get arthritis.
Or
No,
either
sir.
wrinkled hands
Wrinkled hands,
or big hands. That's what.
big hands. I
Another
did hear that.
old
Like your
wives'
knuckle.
tales.
Like so, if you keep cracking your knuckles is going to get bigger.
Nope.
No.
Nope. Old
Old
wives' tales. I like them.
Let's see. Is it bad to crack
What
your
about
joints? Yeah.
Popping my hips.
Popping your
My
hips.
hips pop.
Oh,
Do they like
weird
pop
way,
out
too.
of?
Like, I don't know. It just.
She does this thing where she
I
goes
could probably
gets
do
up
it.
and she does this, and then it pops.
It's
her.
loud?
Yeah,
You wanna
it's
hear it?
yeah.
I can do it.
Do it in front of the camera.
Do it. I want to hear it.
We only got 20 seconds though.
Okay.
Do it fast.
Okay.
I don't gotta.
Oh, there it
that's-
is.
Wow, that's good.
And then the other one.
We can't see it.
I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, does it hurt?
No, it feels good.
Okay, well
Yeah.
then,
Like my hips
Your
feel
goal.
tight, so I have to stretch.
yeah, that's okay.
All right, let's get you back on. Here we go.
That's fine.
Abby. Where's Abby from? Okay, here we go.
Can you turn me back up?
I sure can.
Dex and Barbie, T95.1 WAPE, Jacksonville's #1 hit music station. Shane from the Aquarian Clinic is coming in. Some of the stories that have been coming in, not too uncommon, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you've heard this kind of stuff. We're talking about basically, how have you forced your significant other to go to the doctor? Why? Because they won't go, right?
Right, spot on.
And usually it's some kind of crazy thing that ends up happening, right?
It can definitely happen.
Okay. Good morning. Go ahead, Abby. What was the deal with you and your fiance?
Rash on his back. I thought it a little bit odd, and I was like, I've never seen something like that before. And so I did what you're supposed to do with spider bites. I outlined it to see if it was going to get bigger. And, like, within a 24-hour time period, it had just spread across his entire back.
Yo, that's why.
And
That's quick.
he only complained of a headache. Like, he said it was like a splitting migraine headache. Did actually start to think shingles because it was so, like, abnormal. And I had texted a few of my medical people in my family, and I was like, hey, is this what I think it is? And they were like, yeah, get him to the hospital.
And so it was shingles. And so when it comes to shingles, and by the way, I didn't know, are you supposed to do that? Like if you get like some kind of bite or something like that, you're supposed to outline it in a marker?
She's spot on because that's how we check to see if it grows or gets bigger.
And if
We
it
do
does
all the
grow,
time. Then I need to see you back in and most likely need to prescribe some antibiotics or something like that, depending on how much it grows.
interesting.
It helps quite a bit, honestly.
Travis on Facebook Live, does wearing a hat cause you to go bald?
That is incorrect. It does not.
Okay.
You were
It does
just
not.
gonna bald either way.
Exactly.
Genetics.
It's a huge genetic component. Absolutely.
I'm so blessed. You know, by the way, okay, so I've heard this, and I don't know if it's true. I don't even know if you can answer this, but balding comes from your mother's side. So, like, it's your mother's dad. And if your mother's dad is bald or is balding or has hair issues, that's where the trait comes down.
Sure. I don't know if it's an autosomal recessive or dominant trait, but I can't say exactly. But if there's someone there in your family that balds early, then the answer is probably yeah.
Yeah. Because my dad, he's bald as, you know, I don't even know, like Mr. Clean. And, and I
okay,
have a
Dad.
full head of hair, you know? Good morning from Orange Park. Go ahead. What's your story? What happened?
My dad had this like big rashy welts come up under his arm, and he had went to urgent care, and they told him it was cat scratch fever. My mom was like, that doctor's full of it. No, you need to go to the real doctor. Took him about 2 weeks to convince him, and finally got him to go to the doctor, and it turns out he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he had like stage 3. I don't know. The chemo that they had to give him was called the Red Devil, and the doctor actually shook his hand when he was done with the chemo and said, "I didn't think you would make it, man."
Okay, if my doctor ever said that to me, I would be pissed.
My gosh.
It was bad. He's been in remission like 15, 16 years now.
Oh, good. That's
Yeah,
a good.
that's
I'm
good.
glad that was a happy ending.
For sure.
Cat scratch fever? Do people even get that these days?
They can.
Really?
So
What
that's
is
why.
that?
So that's why we tell women to never touch a cat's litter box, especially if they're pregnant. So
Why?
that can cause. There is a type of infection or bug that grows inside of the feces of the cats, and that can cause a issue with the child, which can be like an abortion.
Oh,
no! Yeah, that's scary. I'll always say avoid cat litter boxes. Avoid.
Avoid cats. Period.
Well, no. And cat scratch fever. So since the cat's in the litter box, then all of a sudden it scratches you, and then you could get that. Yeah.
An infection. Yeah.
833-685-9595 if you want to check in this morning. Dex, Barbie T, let's take a look at traffic.
95.1.
Yeah, those cat bites are the worst. I would rather get bit by a dog.
Really?
Than a cat. Oh man,
Why?
They carry like weird species inside of their cats. They have these interesting little protozoas and things inside their mouth that if they bite you.
Let's get this call real quick. Hey, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Erica, and I'm calling from Jacksonville.
Good
I actually
morning.
don't have a medical story.
Okay.
I just had a comment about the hair loss stuff with the hat.
Yes.
So technically, no, wearing a hat does not cause hair loss, but it can attribute to it. I am a hairdresser. I've been doing hair for 20 years, and I have studied hair loss and stuff. And what it is your pores open up when they're hot, and so sweat and oils can get in there. And when you remove your hat, and the heat, like cold air hits your head, it flows around those oils and dirt, and it can add to the hair loss process.
Interesting.
Wow.
So, but you are already going bald, but at the same time, like this could speed it up. Could you see that?
Yes.
It can.
There's genetic ways that you lose your hair that you can't really avoid if it's in your DNA. But there's also ways that you can add to it, be from medications, from dietary issues,
Correct.
weight loss, weight gain,
Correct.
just hormone changes in general. And
Interesting.
then it is actually not from your mom's side. It's just like every other gene. It's a toss-up, right? You can get it from your mom, from your dad. You look at really big families, and it just depends on who they got their hair from.
Oh, man, I heard that so long ago, and I've always believed it. I was always like, oh, thank goodness, man, my mom's dad is like full head of hair.
Right.
I'm never going to go bald. And since I never went bald, granted, I'm not, old, I just thought, yep, it's true.
Next year, Deck's hair is gonna fall out.
Shut up. No,
no.
whoa.
I literally hear it all the time. Like, people sit down in my chair and they're like, well, my mom's dad has a full head of hair, so I'm fine. Or my mom's dad's bald, so I know what I'm going to look like. I'm like,
Right.
no, man. If you have your dad's hair, you got your dad's hair. If you got your mom's
Interesting.
hair, you got your mom's hair.
Jackie said, does the hair ties for women cause you to go bald faster?
It
So
won't, like,
braids
cause you
can
to go
as well.
bald faster, but it can add stress to the hair, so it'll cause breakage.
Okay.
So if you're like wearing your hair back in a ponytail all the time, if you start noticing that you just have a lot of like shorter frayed hair around your face, it's because your hair is getting compromised and damaged by the hairband. So it's snapping at the hairband and stuff. And it's usually pretty easy to notice. If you pull your hair back, you can see where the hair is falling from, and you'll know that it's just getting damaged by that.
Well, I'm
But
blessed. I don't have to worry about that.
Finer, shorter hair, sleeping with a silk pillowcase actually will help preserve your hair too.
Or a silk bonnet.
Thank you. Thank you for your call. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Silk bonnet. Look at Barbie. Every once in a while, I'll see her come out of there, her bedroom on her side, and she'll have her little silk bonnet on, and I'll be like, oh, hey. All right, fam. I think that's going to wrap it up. Shane, great stuff this morning. Thank you as always.
Thank you for having me.
Red meat, if you aren't a vegan, what's
Virgin.
that? What?
Oh, because she said she eats ice a lot. And
Exactly.
She's probably anemic. But what are some foods with iron that you can?
Green leafy vegetables, spinach, kale is also a great option.
Oh, I love
Nice save there, Jackie. You're right. So that's a great option. Red meats, those are great things for anemia. But let's make sure that it's not a B12 deficiency too, though, because there's different types of anemia, and it's not just iron as well. So another key point here as well.
Okay, so my last question.
Sure.
Is okay. So like I'm trying to eat healthier, right?
Yeah, man.
And so I buy some stuff that's supposed to be healthy, right?
Supposed to be.
Right. Like stuff that's made of, using natural ingredients and blah, blah, blah. Like the salads, those mixed salads?
Yeah.
All right. So if I'm going to eat a salad,
Sure.
I expect that thing to be loaded, just as loaded as my protein shake with vitamins and stuff like that, right?
Should be, yeah.
So I look at my protein shake and it's got like 120% of vitamin A and vitamin B, and this thing's got carrots in it, right? And I look at the nutritional facts on a bag salad, is like 2%.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's that?
What's the point, right?
Right.
Well, it's not always about the vitamins and minerals that are inside of the salad itself. It's also about, like, we call them the phytonutrients, like the blue-green algae. Those are great things that come from plants that you can't get from those shakes and things. So it's not always about the vitamin count or the protein count. It's about other things. And the fiber. How much fiber does it have? Fiber's huge. So there's a bunch of different factors involved there. But
I want to see that on the nutritional facts then. Put that on there. Like if I'm if I'm going to eat a salad, I want to know.
I agree.
Hey, like my mama, always eat your vegetables, you know?
She's very wise. She's very
like
wise.
I'm eating it and it's like, well, it's really not doing anything. So you got to eat a
It
lot
really
of it.
is.
Right. Like potassium. Everybody says eat a banana
Correct.
for potassium, right? And then I looked at one of those banana things. And, banana chips, right? I got a whole container of banana chips.
Why would you eat banana chips?
Because they're
Just eat a
dehydrated
banana.
bananas.
Well, they're fried also sometimes.
Yeah.
Are they?
Eat a
Some
banana.
are, yeah.
Well,
Some are
still,
fried.
they should still have potassium in it. It says it has 1% of your daily needs for
Because it
potassium.
fries all of them out.
It does it?
I think it's per serving, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what a serving would be
How about
in
just
those
eat a
bags.
banana?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But even then, I mean, how much potassium does a banana have in it?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Exactly. Everybody
I
says
don't
eat
know.
bananas. Look, we got apes all over the place over in here behind us. That's our logo.
Yeah.
And we got bananas, but from my understanding, it doesn't have as much potassium as people think.
It doesn't.
What? What you got? You got something? Oh, you got something?
Oh,
Ian?
yeah.
Oh, snap. All right, come on in, Ian. Go.
I'm just answering on the banana
Oh,
thing.
I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Oh, there you are. No, don't turn your mic on. We're not on the air. You just hit the hit the talk back.
It's got 422 milligrams of potassium.
It does.
Or
Yeah.
22.
Is that a lot?
I have no clue.
What's that in the
Milligrams.
percentage? I want to know if that's it.
Milligrams, so it's not grams.
Correct. So the exact dietary amount you need, I don't know.
Are green bananas good for your digestive system?
But they're disgusting.
What?
Yeah.
Green bananas?
Yeah, I don't know.
My mom loves them.
Ugh,
She specifically will get like almost fully green bananas.
Oh, wow.
And I'll watch her eat them with a smile on her face. And I'm like, you're going to hell. I'll say, Mom, can you pick me up some bananas from the store when I was living at home, right?
Yeah.
I was like, can you pick me up some bananas, thinking she would. No. She brought me home green bananas I couldn't eat for a week and a half.
Jeez.
And I was like, why'd you get these? She goes, because I like them. I said, my bananas.
The regular banana.
The regular
Ma,
one.
come
My
on.
bananas.
Jeez, Ma.
All right, so that's gonna wrap it up. Wait, what am I doing here, man? I've got my screens all over the place. That's gonna wrap it up for our live guys. We are gonna try to start doing these more often if I can get everything dialed in the studio, and we'll be good to go. Shane, thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for coming.
And we will talk to
Always.
you guys soon. Boom.
Boom. Awesome.
And
Green bananas. Jesus.
boom.
Oh, damn.